Here, bringing you the IM373 Extra Practice Number 4 solutions on right triangle trigonometry, also known as SOHCAHTOA. There's a puzzle that goes with this. Let's check that out. Here's the puzzle that goes with that extra practice. In this one, we are trying to solve the riddle, why didn't Mrs. Zorg want to have her hair colored? In order to figure this out, we need to solve all of these different trig problems. Now, the way these are set up, they're basically giving us a trig function with an angle, and we just have to write the correct ratio. And we get to choose between 4 different ratios in each of these different sets here. And then whatever the letter next to the ratio is, we just put it next to the problem number in one of these boxes down below. So if I do number 1 here and I find that the answer is L, it isn't, but let's say it is, we would put an L in spot number 1. And each spot gets repeated not at all. So once you're done with a spot, you move on. All right, let's check it out. For our first problem, we're trying to write the ratio for the sine of angle A. So here's angle A. Sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So we're going to be doing the opposite side 5 over the hypotenuse of 13. And that's going to be choice O, which goes in spot number 1 here. Next up, we're figuring out cosine of A. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So from A, the adjacent side is this 12 side that's part of the angle but not the hypotenuse. So we have 12 over the hypotenuse of 13. That hasn't changed from problem 1. So that's going to be choice A, which goes in spot number 2. Last for this problem set, and for all of them really, we're going to be figuring out the tan of that same angle, tan of A. So that's opposite over adjacent. So from A, we have the opposite side 5 over the adjacent side 12, which gives us choice U going in spot number 3, which is over here. For problems 4 through 6, we're going to be using the same triangle, but now we're going to be doing everything from the perspective of angle B, starting with the sine. So sine again was opposite over hypotenuse. So from B, the opposite side is 12. That's the side across from it. Hypotenuse is still 13. So 12 over 13 is a blank. So to represent that in spot 4, I'm going to put a little solid dot here, just something that's not a letter. For number 5, we want cosine of B. So that's adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent side this time is going to be 5. That's the one of the legs of the angle that's not the hypotenuse. And then we have the hypotenuse that is 13. So 5 over 13 is E. Put that in spot 5. And last but not least for this set, we have the tan of B, opposite over adjacent. So opposite side is 12. Adjacent side is 5. And it's okay that the numerator is bigger than the denominator when it comes to tangent. So that's going to be 12 over 5 is S. So that's going in spot 6. For 7 through 9, we have yet another different triangle. Well, actually, it's our first different triangle, but we have yet another set of problems based off of just one triangle. So sine of A, opposite over hypotenuse. Angle A's opposite side is 1. It's across from it. Hypotenuse is 2. And 1 over 2 goes with T. So that goes in spot 7. Now we've got the cosine of A. That's adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent side for A is this radical 3 side right here. Hypotenuse is still 2. And that's going to be this blank here. So we're going to put a blank, or a solid dot I would put, I guess, in spot 8. For the tan of A, we've got opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be opposite side 1 over adjacent side root 3. And I would normally simplify the radical and get this radical out of the denominator, but looking at my answer choices, we've got 1 over radical 3 in there already, so there's no need to change up the form of this, even though we might do this normally. So that's going to be E going in spot 9 at the very end here. For the next 3 problems, we're going to recycle that last triangle and now do everything from angle B's angle. So we've got sine of B, opposite over hypotenuse. So now the opposite side is going to be radical 3, and the hypotenuse is still 2. So root 3 over 2 gives me y. For number 10, 10 is right there, so there's a y. Now we've got cosine of b. That's adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's going to be 1 over 2, which gives us choice O going in 11. And finally, we have tan of b, opposite over adjacent. Opposite side from b is going to be root 3. That's across from it. Adjacent side is the 1. So root 3 over 1 can be reduced to just root 3. So it's going to be that blank there going in spot number 12. For 13 through 15, we have another triangle. And this time there's a little bit of a twist here. We're going to see that all of the different ratios that we form from these numbers, since these are all divisible by 3, all of those ratios are going to be reduced before we're able to pick a final answer. So just one extra step. So we have sine of A, opposite over hypotenuse. Here's A. The opposite side from that is 12. Hypotenuse is 15. And then that can be reduced to 4 over 5, which gives us choice G. So that's going to go in spot 13, which is right over there. Now we've got cosine of A, adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's going to be the adjacent side 9 over hypotenuse 15. Reduces by 3's to 3 over 5. So 3 over 5 is a blank going in spot 14, which is right there. Next up, we've got tan of A. That's opposite over adjacent. So we've got opposite side 12 over adjacent side 9, reduces to 4 over 3, which is letter S, and that goes in 15. Now we've got another new triangle for the next 3 questions. This one has this crazy radical 65 business going on. So now we're looking for sine of B. That's going to be, again, opposite over hypotenuse. Here's B. Opposite that, we have a 7. Hypotenuse is radical 65. And again, they didn't make us simplify the radical at all. So 7 over root 65 is T. That's going in spot 16. For cosine of B, we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have adjacent side 4 over hypotenuse 65, root 65, I should say. And that's going to be choice H. And 17 is right here, so H right there. Now we have tan of B, opposite over adjacent for angle B. So we have opposite side 7 over adjacent side 4. 7/4 is going to be a Y, and that's going for 18, so right over there. On to the next set, we have another triangle. We have sine of A for the first problem. That's opposite over hypotenuse. So in this case, from angle A, we have an opposite side of 16 across from angle A. And then hypotenuse is now down here. That's a little bit of a game changer, so that's 34. They changed up the direction of our triangle here. Now this can be reduced by 2's, so that's going to be 8 over 17, which gives us W for 19 right there. So that's she was, and then this is, I don't know what this next word is. I suspect it's going to be 2, but let's keep going and solve this thing. For cosine of A, adjacent over hypotenuse, we've got adjacent side 30 over hypotenuse 34. And again, we can reduce that by 2. So that's going to be 15 over 17, which is right here. That's a blank going in spot 20 all the way over here. And then finally, we'll end this set of 3 with tan of A, opposite over adjacent. So we have opposite side 16 over adjacent side 30. And that's reducible by 2, so 8 over 15, which is going to be N going in spot 21 right there. Okay, question 22. It's the final triangle. We're almost there. One more set. So now we've got sine of A, opposite over hypotenuse. And then in this case, from angle A's perspective, the opposite side is this 1 right here. Hypotenuse is root 2, that's across from the right angle. And again, they didn't simplify the radical, so 1 over root 2. And this is kind of interesting. We have 2 choices. They're both O, so okay, we'll pick one of those and put it in spot 22, O. For cosine of A, we have adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent side for A is this one right here, and the hypotenuse is still going to be root 2. So that's the other O, I guess, that we didn't pick the first time around. That's going in spot 23. And we're on to the final problem. All right, the very last problem. It's been a journey here. Tan of A, so opposite over adjacent. So we have opposite side 1 over adjacent side 1. This reduces to just 1. So then that's going to be choice D. That's our final letter going in spot 24. And now we have enough information to actually solve the whole puzzle here. So we'll do that on the next page. So it's time now to solve the riddle. Why didn't Ms. Zorg want to have her hair colored? And the answer to this, apparently, going to the end of our journey here, is she was too young to die. Oh, all right. That was punny. Till next time, Mr. Sutton signing off.